Hey guys, just coming back at you with another video. Gonna go over a few things here, what we think happened to the Mustang, where we're at now, and where we're gonna go from here. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. So the first thing that I noticed was the ticking that, a lot of these Mustangs, they say the S550, I think specifically they really refer to as the barbecue tick sometimes, or the direct injection tick. Either way, a lot of the forums and communities kind of chalk it up to being normal, even the dealers. So I didn't think much of it, a few weeks leading up to it, because you would hear, especially near, you're in a drive-through where you're in between some buildings downtown, you would hear more of a, a tick, tick, tick that was kind of matching the engine RPM, but I didn't think much of it. So this is the video that I took just underneath the car. This is the day after I did the oil change, immediately after actually. Disregard the metal, that was just my kid playing with the jack stands beside me. So it's just the loud clanging is not the car, it's mostly just the metal slap, or what I assumed was piston slap or rod knock. Here's another video that I got. It's in the engine bay. Not quite as noticeable. Almost hard to pick up, in all honesty. You can barely tell the sound is there. It's very, very subtle. And I'm not sure if I can attribute that to the louder exhaust that I've got on this car, or had on this car, or just the fact that it was coming from the bottom end. Probably a bit of both. So this video here, it's not really noticeable at idle. Really only became noticeable under load, so you can kind of tell here that it's very subtle, if noticeable at all. So me and a couple of the guys were out cruising, ended up doing a few pulls on the highway, and I'd already been out, 3-4 hours at this point, if not longer. So she was warm, definitely not overheated. It was a hot summer night, and we ended up doing a couple pulls. I think on my second pull with a buddy of mine, the low oil pressure light came up, and at that point, clearly panic set in, pulled over immediately, stopped, got the car towed. I checked the oil. The oil level was pretty low, not dramatically low. So I left it for the night. Next morning, I came out, changed the oil. It was like the first thing I did before I even turned it back on, because I didn't know if it was going to seize, if I'd completely ran it dry in oil. But it seemed to be okay after I changed the oil. The low pressure light had gone away, and I thought that maybe it was, kind of a fluke. So I took a look in the oil catch pan there after I changed the oil, and I noticed that there was some, few little metal flakes, nothing too crazy, but it wasn't magnetic. I've got the little magnet that I usually throw in there just to pick up any actual metal, and it wasn't magnetic, and that was kind of my first, what the fuck kind of moment. So after I checked that out and realized that, okay, well, it's not magnetic, so that's not great, I called one of my guys down there at the performance shop, and they kind of gave me the quick, this might be what it is, this might, they're kind of diagnosing over the phone. So after that, they kind of said, take a look in the oil filter, and so I did, and didn't really want to, but as you can see from the pictures, it was pretty ugly. The oil, I put it down on some cardboard, and as it dried up, it essentially turned into glitter oil. It was very apparent that there was a lot of bearing material in throughout it. The filter itself, you could see flakes throughout the oil filter. You also have, the oil itself that was inside of that filter. It was just jam-packed with metal flakes, like more than I'd be happy to see in any person's oil filter. So at that point, I kind of knew, the engine was, cooked, or, really close to being cooked. Surprisingly, like I said there, the oil pressure light had gone away, so it seemed run and drive, but I did notice that ticking had gotten a lot worse. They kind of were thinking cam phasers or something on the top end, which, would have been a lot cheaper overall. But then I kind of told them, hey, there's a lot of metal flakes and just metal shavings in the oil and in the oil filter. And, once I told them that, they were like, obviously it wasn't metallic, or it wasn't magnetic rather, so it was clearly bearing material, and that indicated bottom end for sure. So with that, I was obviously looking at a shit ton more money than I'd planned to pay for this repair. I was looking at a full rebuild, and I kind of went back and forth on, do I want to rebuild it with forged internals and maybe supercharge it. And then with this car, it had already been pretty unreliable, and I've only had it for about 3 years and a bit. And I've honestly gone through the differential, full rebuild on that. The transmission had to be completely rebuilt. Exhaust manifold had gone there just before the warranty ran out last year, and I'm only just 5 months out of warranty here, and the engine's going essentially on me. And I drive the car, but I've only put around 30,000 kilometers on it myself. I'm the second owner on it, and I think American, that's probably around 30,000. It's probably kilometers, probably about 15 to something thousand miles. So to me, I feel like the previous owner was really hard on it, because I just don't see how any car can be driven 15,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers and have this many issues. So I kind of opted to go away from any rebuilds or anything like that, because at this point I just feel like it was not worth it to try to look at adding more power to a car that's already pretty unreliable. It's proven to be unreliable, and I feel like just adding more power is just asking for more problems. So went ahead and decided to trade it in for something a bit more of an upgrade. This was it was a base model GT. It didn't have very many creature comforts, which is fine. I really just wanted to have the V8 engine. I was a really big fan of it, and I'd always wanted a V8. But yeah, so we ended up getting a newer 21 Mustang Premium, fully loaded GT, of course. And yeah, that's where we are right now. Gonna try and upload some more videos of some of the mods I've already done, a few of them that are on the way. I got a few things in the mail coming from American Muscle. But yeah, so not much more I can really say about it. It's a huge pain to see this car go. I loved it, put a lot of work into this car, and again, it was mostly bolt-ons and a lot of cosmetic things, but it was just time and effort. And it's you get a car, you build a car, you love it, and then you always got to make those hard decisions on whether or not it's worth investing the money to completely rebuild a car, you know, from the engine up, and to me it just wasn't worth it. So, you know, kind of at this point, I feel like I made the right decision. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.